Listen, they don't hate unless you're doing something right. So when people are hating on you, take a look. Take a look at who they really are. All right, welcome back to the party, everybody. This is Morty, and I am your host, Lutch, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Hit that like and subscribe, and let's party. So, we've been talking a lot about the Manosphere and the red pill space and how it's kind of been sullied. One of the guys, though, in that, not really in the space, but making men-centric content, who I still do appreciate, is Rich Cooper of Entrepreneurs in Cars. And he actually had Danica Patrick, the NASCAR driver, on his show recently. And this little clip was actually very interesting. So let's check it out.
Generally, culture is living in very much a victim mentality, identity politics spiral of like, there's always something to glom onto to defer accountability.
Already, we're getting straight facts from Danica. Not dealing with the woke BS at all.
And I think that's probably one of the biggest problems
now, isn't it?
Everyone's a victim of something.
Right.
And there's a reason for lacking success or lacking progress or lacking whatever it is that you want to put your finger on. You could come up with a reason.
Right.
And I think probably in my own life, accountability has been what I've been most proud of. Like whether it's accountability for my emotions, accountability for my reality that I live in every space. It's like, it's up to me. Mm-hmm. And as soon as I stopped looking to other people to help me make that happen, then it's like pretty freeing.
Where did you get that from?
Where did I get that from?
Good question.
Probably enough time pointing the finger, probably enough time. I'm pretty like good in the professional realm of things, but personal realm, when I stopped pointing the finger at other people and started just asking what's my part in this.
So to me, that sounds like she hit the wall. She was pointing fingers just like every other young modern woman. And then eventually it all caught up with her and she couldn't get away with that anymore. And she was forced to take a look in the mirror and see what, like she said, what her part was.
Then if you become liberated, happier.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah. Yeah.
And most people don't live life that way. It's somebody else's fault that they're at where they're at.
Taking accountability gives you freedom. It liberates you.
Yeah.
Right. And that's what I think a lot of society has conditioned themselves to believe and understand now. It's like, if that guy over there has money, then he's bad because money is the root of all evil. Or
money bad.
If that guy over there is in fit and healthy shape with 6-pack abs at 50 years old, what's he trying to compensate for? Why does he think he needs to do that? Who is he trying to impress? Right. So
that's the narrative. There's always some negative reason behind why anybody is doing good things with their own life, because the people who are attributing that negativity never have their own inherent goals that they want to accomplish in their own life. And if they do, they don't have what it takes to actually do it. They want to point at you and focus on everything wrong with you instead of looking at themselves.
There's all this pointing and sputtering at, different people out there, and envy and jealousy it's a horrible emotion. And I see a lot of it out there, I obviously have an online presence. Like I'm getting 7 to 10 million views a month on the stuff that I'm doing. So I get hate. Right. And, I'm always
some girls,
Yeah. Well, we'll figure out if you're a hater, if you're a liker by the end of this podcast.
I'm fascinated. I'm fascinated. So it's much more on liking than hating because I'm fascinated. I love the discussion.
Got it. Yeah. So I get hate and I get love, obviously, but I mean, like the haters are the ones that I'm always interested in, because it's like, okay, well, if this person's criticizing me, then where is this coming from?
Sure.
Like, would I want to trade my life for your life? What do you do for a living? What have you accomplished? What do you look like? What are your views and opinions? And
that's a great thing for anybody. Listen, they don't hate unless you're doing something right. So when people are hating on you, take a look. Take a look at who they really are. Is this somebody that you would want to switch lives with? If not, then just let it let it drip off like water.
It's funny because, there's a digital footprint. So you can click through on people. You can click through on them on social media, on YouTube videos. You can see what they subscribe to, what they watch. You can see what their tweets are all about on Twitter. And it's pretty obvious to me that jealousy and envy, like all this hate, always comes from beneath you, because nobody ever gets jealous of a loser. People only get envious and jealous of somebody that they want to be, or to be like, or to have things that they have, sort of thing. So I find this dynamic interesting today, where it's like people spend a lot of time, effort, and resources trying to bring somebody else down.
And exactly what we were just talking about. They can't lift themselves up, so they want to put you down. And if you hate that as much as I do, you will find a home at the Indian Jesus Discord server, where the party never ends. That's right. We are in there 24/7 hanging out. And after every live stream, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, after every stream, we go in there for a live panel. We're all in the same room talking. And you're not just behind your keyboard. We're actually having a conversation. It is a great time. Come and join us.
And it's like, wouldn't it be a lot easier just bring yourself up to their level?
Yup.
Well, what does it take to do that? What does it take in your life? I'm guessing, obviously, you're in that space. So what is it that tips them over? Because I think some of the problem is, it's not that people don't want to get better. It's not that people don't want the pathway forward. They don't actually know they need it.
Or they want to be better, but they don't want to do what it takes to become better. They just want to, snap their fingers and have everything be magically changed. And that's just not how the world works. So there's one thing, it's one thing to want something for yourself. It's another thing to be able or willing to do what it takes to achieve and earn what you want. That seems to be the piece that is missing way too often.
Yeah, that's an interesting question, because it's they don't need it. They don't know how to do it. Has it been like squeezed out of them? Like, is it something that's been engineered out of them through through their upbringing? One of the things that's changed culturally over the last couple of generations is we have more kids today raised in a single parent household than we ever have in the entirety of history. Most households in my dad's and grandparents' generation, obviously, were not single parent households. Most households today are single parent households.
Most of them. How is that a good thing?
And they're mostly moms.
Sure. Well, they've probably progressively gotten smaller just in the community scope. To further back would be like grandparents and uncles and aunts and cousins, and like it's shrunk all the way down to one parent, essentially. One person.
Yeah. And
whatever happened to it takes a village to raise a child.
And they're not doing a great job. I mean, the results are in. Most, like the vast majority, like when it comes to like high school year kids, the vast majority of gang activity, teenage pregnancies, runaways, terrible marks in school, incarceration,
all single mothers. Now, it's not just to put down single mothers. It's just to identify facts and deal with reality. If you are a single mother, your child is much more likely to have these issues. So knowing that, you should try to keep yourself out of the position of being a single mother in the first place.
They're all from single parent households. And if you remove the father from the household, what do you think is going to happen, right? There's an interesting story that I heard one time about the almost extinction. I think it was a white rhinoceros in Africa. I might have butchered, the breed of rhino, but it was a rhino. And poachers were killing off male adult elephants for their ivory tusks. And what ended up happening was the young male elephants were charging these rhinos just out of fun, just out of shits and giggles, because there was no adult males to reel them in and keep control of them.
So you kill off the males, and the young bucks are just doing whatever they want because there's no order, there's no structure. The exact same thing happens with humans. Now, we're not, using people's teeth for jewelry, but there is a whole plethora of reasons why there wouldn't be a man in a child's life. And I don't think any of them are that good. Obviously, if you're being violent or something like that. But other than that, a child needs his or her father.
So they found when they started to reintroduce adult males and they got rid of the poaching, the white rhinos stopped dying off because the young adult males stopped charging and killing them. So you need men and women in a good society. It's required. And the problem is that guys were considered the head of the household at one point, right? They were the leaders. They were the ones that were respected and looked upon. But today men are mocked. I mean, I grew up on a steady diet of sitcom. You probably saw shows like, Home Improvement, Tim Taylor, The Cosby Show, stuff like that when you're
all the men just bumbling idiots, and the moms keeping everything together.
growing up. And the fathers were really always portrayed to me as a bumbling idiots, right? And I think, that's just one of the small elements that have contributed to the change and the decline of the West, right?
I think this is a good time to talk about roles. It's something I'm curious in my own life about. I've asked many people that, but like, what is a man and a woman's role in a relationship?
And we know this. Even as, times go on and progress and this and that, we still know that the role of a male is to be the provider protector, and the role of the woman is to support that. Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be as strict as the traditional, whatever, but those are the roles. And you can mold them differently. You can update what that actually means to be a provider protector. But if you try to change it, it's just not going to work. So you can guys check out the rest of the conversation. That was only a small clip of Danica Patrick on the Entrepreneurs in Cars. I will link the clip below. Let me know what you thought. Are you surprised to see that Danica Patrick would be on this type of channel talking about this stuff? What do you think about all of this? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Once again, this is Morty, and I have been your host, Lutch, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. And if you're still here, thank you so much. Just put Morty down in the comments below, and you could be featured in our next video. Thank you so much. Until then, we are out of here. Peace.